Hey gang, so here's a little different take on our Monday motivation. So I'm going to show you a little screen share here. So many, you may or may not have heard me talk about a trip to the moon before. You know, in the past last couple weeks, we have talked about living a life by design. You know, a life strategized, and then we talked about how we're going to actually finish. Now, in between those two, though, we've got to make sure we're taking time to analyze and check our progress. What I found is so many times that people in general, real estate agents in particular, tend to be very good at goal setting at the very beginning of the year, and then they never look at those again until the last week of the year, and they realize it's too late to make any adjustments. So here's where I like to bring in what we call a concept called a trip to the moon. Now, if we look at this slide kind of, here's the Earth, and we have a nice smooth parabola. Somebody shoots a rocket, they find a way, they actually orbit a couple times and land on the moon. All looks great from here. But the reality is, if we take a look, if I took this box and made that, let's say, just a 5-second portion of that trip, and this bigger box is a magnified version of that box, maybe 1,000 times, 15,000 times, whatever it is, the path actually looks like that. And the reason is because they know that they have to check their progress often, like down to every second, because if they let themselves get too far off course, they do not have enough fuel to get back on course, so they could not make it. It's too big a correction, and they're going to get lost, right? Or they're going to miss their target, and they're never going to make it back. So what I'm going to challenge you to do, and we're going to talk about some rituals coming up in the next couple of weeks about how you can go about this, but we are going to, at least on a weekly basis, check our progress so that we can make a small adjustment rather than have to try and make one big one. Another way to look at this: is it easier to lose 20 pounds or 2 pounds? Well, the answer is 2, but we have to catch ourselves when we're 2 pounds overweight and not step on the scale for the first time and realize we're 20. Fair enough? So we're going to make a series of small adjustments more often that it's going to be easier to get ourselves back on track. So that's what we mean when we talk about a trip to the moon. Ponder on that one for a bit this week and think about, am I truly doing my trip to the moon adjustments often enough so I can stay on track? Hope you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.